All right, fantastic to have you here. Let's speak about native advertising. So, Kyle, you work with a lot of native traffic, more on the affiliate or agency side of things. How do you actually use native, also compared to other traffic sources? Is price the only reason why you go native, or what is it?
No, I think there are a lot of good reasons to go native, but one of them is really the consistency in traffic. Facebook changes their algorithm constantly, and a campaign that would be killing it there would be dead the next week. But native, we have campaigns that'll last consistently for weeks, if not months, and honestly, we have one that's going close to a year now.
Excuse me, a year on volume?
Yes, a year at consistent volume. It is a second tier campaign, but it's been converting consistently, and we have no reason to stop it.
What's the offer? How does the ad look like? Can you share more?
I can't
Just
share that,
easy.
unfortunately. But yeah, I think native is a really great way to reach out on not just premium publishers, but all types of publishers that you may have not had access to before. And you get the authority of the site that you're advertising on. You get someone who's already in a reading mindset, and so they're ready to consume whatever offer or content that you're going to provide them with.
Fantastic. So let's look into actual strategies and tactics of how to run on native. What would be your top 3 tips if you're starting out on native?
My top 3 tips would be to use all the resources possible that the platform provides. So this means like conversion pixel, account manager, and any sort of dynamic parameters that they can provide. Then next, I would say you need to make sure that your tracking system, which you definitely need to have, is functioning properly. And then next, I would say get a good sort of framework set up in terms of your spend and what you're willing to accept in terms of spending per publisher, and then cut ruthlessly based off of that.
Thank you very much. Sergey, what do you think?
I agree with Kyle. Actually, like 50% of the panels and discussions here, they are related to native area as well. So because the practices for optimizing your campaigns from different traffic sources, they do overlap. But for native, I think make sure your trackers work fine, and the best way to do it is just by using the Outbrain or MGID internal tracker, because that one is going to be used by the system algorithm internally to optimize the performance of your campaigns. Then talk to your account manager, get some advices, and ask some questions.
All right, thank you. More tips?
Yes, I guess echoing these two guys. One really important one, though, that Kyle touched on a bit is really leveraging the platform to its fullest potential. So not coming in and just being satisfied and setting up a very basic campaign. You wouldn't do that across other platforms that you're familiar with as a performance marketer. Go beyond just the basic setup. And then the second tip is, it feeds into that, it's just put the work in. It sounds a bit silly, and people say this in every vertical, but people say it for a reason. You only get out what you put in. People get very caught up in what works and what's easy and what's quick, and that's a very common nature of performance marketing. And that's where it leaves gaps and opportunities for you. If everyone does the same thing and gets lazy, that's going to open up an opportunity for someone who's willing to work harder. And so all the guys that I'm working with, they're in there testing new creatives, testing new landers, relaunching campaigns, testing different targeting strategies, and they're the ones that are achieving the scale. The guys that are just going set and forget, you might get a little boost and then your campaign will burn out.
Well, unless you're Kyle.
Unless you can't.
So where do you see native going? I remember like a year or two ago, there was a lot of conversation about native, and I don't see that happening right now, which usually means it's the best time to do it yourself, jump in, competition is lower. Yeah. So where do you see native going over the next year or two, especially with conversations about other traffic sources becoming more expensive?
I definitely see it being an integral growing. I don't think it's going anywhere, and something you touched on is currently across most native networks, it is cheaper. You look at your effective CPCs across your programmatic, search, Facebook, look into the effectiveness of the click. and the cost. Don't look at just what the dashboard tells you. Look how effective that is down your funnel. And that's where you will see true value in native. And that's where you see the guys who move now and are getting the jump. They're going to be the ones looking back in a year or two going, oh yeah, sort of, I told you so.
I think the fact that native is more rarely mentioned in media and is not over-talked anymore just shows that it probably achieved some level of maturity. I cannot agree more that native has become one of the distribution channels for majority of the advertisers. And but you know, I still think that there is a huge potential to grow. Whereas native is quite developed in English-speaking countries and Tier 1 countries, it is still completely underdeveloped. Let's say even in Europe. Europe has a lot of languages and has a lot of has a total mixture of different cultures. And in order to be native there, you really have to be local to that market. You need to be in that language. You need to have the content that is going to be native, not only by the way it looks, but native to those specific people there. So, but I think that. Next year, the major growth is going to happen in Asia, Pacific, and Latin America, because those markets are. Asian market is more open, but is completely underdeveloped by all the native companies, and Latin American market again, it's quite fractured. And you actually have to establish some kind of physical presence in almost every Latin American country in order to be successful there. So native is still going to thrive. And the other thing that is going to happen to native, the whole content consumption model of the users worldwide is undergoing a very dramatic change.
Interesting, thank you. So Kyle, what's up for next year with native?
Well, I think Asia Pacific will be a very big thing. We haven't been able to work out Latin America so much, but as long as the traffic is there, I'm sure the offers will come as well. As an affiliate, I'm definitely looking forward to what these guys can give us in terms of like new technologies to leverage the traffic a little bit better. Video will definitely be very exciting, and I'm looking forward also to doing more localized campaigns, meaning like the language itself being localized across the videos that we're promoting or the content that we're promoting. I think it's a great way to stand out, especially if all your competitors are just running English ads, and then they'll see their own native language stands out quite a bit against everyone else that's still doing just English ads.